Florida Congressman Byron Donalds joining us this morning. Welcome back, sir. Always good to see you.
Good to be back with you. How you doing?
Doing well. And I want to start with what's happening with the debt ceiling talks, which those were going well. But lawmakers right now, Congressman, calling out Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen over this June 1st deadline date. So what do you think? Is that not correct?
Yeah, we have serious questions with Janet Yellen. First, America, Janet Yellen was wrong on inflation. She was wrong when it comes to GDP growth. And now we're going to take her word for it that June 1st is the day where the nation reaches its cap for borrowing money. All we're saying is she should come in and show her work. You know, she should explain to us very clearly in detail how the United States reaches the debt limit on June 1st. And so there's many people who are speculating it could be later than that. On June 15th, quarterly tax receipts come into the federal government. So there's a lot of things that are moving all the time. All we're saying is show your work. We make kids who are doing math in all levels of school show their work. Why shouldn't the Treasury Secretary?
Yeah, and because there's not really an exact date, it's really hard to pinpoint. And she's just saying, hey, we got to hurry up. It's coming soon. No matter what, it's coming soon. So what's happening behind the scenes right now, Congressman?
Well, unfortunately, behind the scenes, the White House is just not serious. They want to maintain spending levels at a minimum from what I'm hearing. They don't want any structural policy reforms or any structural spending reforms, but they want to borrow another $4 to $5 trillion to get past the election. So, I mean, anybody in business would say, well, if you want to come borrow money, then there's got to be some spending reforms or some ability to show that you can pay that money back or continue those interest payments. Under Joe Biden's plan, interest on the debt will be the number one budget item in our budget, bigger than defense, bigger than Social Security. It will be paying interest on the debt. That is unsustainable for any country, including ours.
What will happen if the president tries to invoke the 14th Amendment?
He simply can't. It's unconstitutional. If the president can just borrow money at his own whim, then what's the purpose of Congress appropriating funds? I mean, this is a constitutional crisis that we're talking about. Separation of powers has been the bedrock for our democracy. It's been the thing that has stopped, frankly, rogue executives from taking too much control, something the framers of our Constitution expressly warned and forebode against. That's why there are separation of powers. The president saying he can use the 14th Amendment is something that is radical. And as much as they like to throw out the word extreme, that is extreme. It is radical. It is tyrannical. He does not have the authority to do that. I want to stress that to the American people. If he chooses to do it, once again, this president will be ignoring federal law and ignoring our Constitution for his own political agenda.
Congressman, the NAACP issued a travel advisory for your state saying that the state has become hostile to Black Americans. Florida has the third largest Black population in the country, following Texas and Georgia, with more than 3 million Black residents. What is your message to the NAACP?
Stop being dumb. Stop playing politics. Look, they don't like some of the rulings or some of the bills that were signed in this last legislative session. There are major concerns about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion being involved in our university system. There is major issues with critical race theory. It's not something where people just view it as just teaching Black history. And I think that the left and the NAACP try to conflate the two. They say if you have a problem with critical race theory, then you have a problem with teaching Black history. That's not true. Black history is very clear and objective. The tenets of critical race theory are subjective views of Black history in America and American history overall. And so Florida is making that differentiation. Florida is saying we're totally fine with teaching history, but DEI programs and critical race theory, we do have issues with. And so we're saying no. That's what went through the legislature. For them to do this is all politics. It's just trying to gaslight Black people in our state. But the reality is people continue to move to Florida. Black people continue to move to Florida because families are thriving in our state, and Black people want a part of that as well.
Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, great seeing you this morning. We appreciate you joining us. Have a great day.
Anytime.
Thank you.
See you.